friends. Welcome into Gamecock Central Radio Baseball Report today with Gamecock legend Kip Bouknight. I'm Emerson Phillips. And Kip, if we were to count the number of reasons why this Florida series this weekend is huge, I would think we could come up with quite a few reasons. How many can you come up with, Kip?
Well, I mean, it's obviously tough starting the Southeastern Conference playing Florida, and certainly the arms they got coming in is going to be really, really tough. And but it should be a great environment at Founders Park, and South Carolina's got a great chance to make a statement. Certainly don't think they've gotten a lot of votes on finishing towards the top in the SEC. So great opportunity for them ahead. They just got to believe that they belong and go out and try to play some good baseball.
It's the start of SEC play, and the Gators are the reigning national champions, and it's also Mark Kingston's SEC coaching debut. So, Kip, Florida had been ranked number one virtually all year until they dropped back-to-back games. They lost Tuesday and Wednesday night last week on consecutive nights. They were beaten by Central Florida, and that dropped them out of the number one ranking to number two in most of the polls. But they swept Rhode Island last weekend, and they beat Florida State 12-6 Tuesday night in Gainesville. So Florida has won 4 in a row coming in, and the Gamecocks beat Harvard 12-3 on Wednesday. Carolina got 14 hits and struck out 14 Harvard batters. And I thought it was interesting, Kip, that all 14 Gamecock hits were singles, and South Carolina did not homer in that Harvard game for only the third time this year. It was just the third game this year that the Gamecocks did not hit a home run. So Florida's won 4 in a row coming in, and the Gamecocks have won 5 straight.
Yeah, South Carolina certainly the other night against Harvard did a good job of manufacturing some runs. Obviously, the competition is certainly going to be more fierce against Florida. But this team has shown in the Clemson series that they certainly can win the big game. I mean, it was a big game on Friday night at Founders Park against Clemson. They came out on top. And, Sunday they were down 6-0 in a tough environment playing at Doug Kingsmore Stadium, and came back and was able to tie that ball game up, and unfortunately losing it tonight. But, South Carolina's just going to have to play good, quality baseball. They're going to have to pitch well. They're going to have to play good defense and certainly get some timely hitting. And should be a great weather for the game tonight. And hopefully there's a lot of fans that come out and make it really, really tough for Florida. But certainly know we got some other sports going on, and we, as Gamecocks, we want to support them all. And I wish the women's basketball team nothing but success.
No doubt. The Gamecocks and Gators have met 89 times, Kip. South Carolina's won 45 of those games. Florida has won 44. And we've got a tremendous pitching matchup for the first game of the series, 7 o'clock at Founders Park on the SEC Network. Dave Neal and Todd Walker will have the call Friday night, Kip. It's Adam Hill versus Brady Singer.
Yeah, Adam Hill has shown here in his last 3 starts that he's, a potential All-American and really and truly could certainly be a top 3 or 4 round draft pick. And the key for him is command. He's just got to come out and command his pitches, especially his fastball. If he can command his fastball, Emerson, he's as good as anybody out there, and he can be electric at times. And the key for him, I look for Florida to really try to be patient against him and run his pitch count up and try to get him out of the game early. As when he has struggled, he has thrown a lot of pitches and gets into the 2-2 and 3-2 counts a lot. So he just needs to try to go out, establish his fastball early, establish a strike zone early, and do everything he can to, really challenge these Florida hitters. He's just got to trust his stuff and go after him. And, I think back to this program right now, it's kind of hard to compare it to my freshman year, but I can remember when Florida came to town at Sarge Fry, my freshman year, which was 1999, I can remember Coach Ray Tanner saying, "Hey, guys, you want some respect? Well, go win a game, and go win a game against Florida, and let's go win a series against Florida." And it's hard to imagine right now that South Carolina is an underdog, because for so many years now we've seen South Carolina being the hunted, and I kind of like that for this team. I think this team is hungry. I think they're playing with a lot of heightened awareness and an attitude of almost that they're pissed off a little bit. So that's a good thing. And sometimes being on top is tough for young men to be able to handle. And I think this team being a little bit of an underdog for the rest of the season, out of the games they play, really, could benefit them. So again, huge opportunity for this weekend. That's the way they need to look at it. They need to look at it as an opportunity to go make a statement.
Yeah, the Gamecocks are underdogs this weekend. That's a fact. And Kip, talking about this pitching matchup on Friday night, you mentioned Adam Hill. Since losing the season opener to VMI, he's pitched 3 starts, and he's 2-0 with a 1.42 ERA. He has struck out 37 batters and walked only 4. So since that season-opening loss to VMI, Hill has been absolutely incredible. And I wanted to get you to talk about Brady Singer a little bit, the right-hander from Florida who will start Friday night. Kip, he struck out 12 batters in Game 1 of the College World Series last year for Florida against LSU, and that was a College World Series record. Florida obviously went on to win the national championship last year, and Singer's 4-0 with a 2.08 earned run average. His 4 wins are tops in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously going to come out and, really make it tough on South Carolina hitters. But, I think it's one of those games that, again, Adam Hill's just got to go out and trust his stuff and pound the zone. And obviously, that's just not the only guy they have. Florida's got a really deep bullpen. They're really going to pitch well, I think. They've got several capable arms, but South Carolina does too. And, they just, again, this could be a game that ends up being a 3-2 pitching duel, or you never know. Sometimes when you think games are going to be pitched, sometimes they end up, being a 7-5 thrill with a couple of 3-run home runs. And it is warmer today, and, maybe before the sun sets, the ball might be flying a little bit. So, anytime guys throw in the mid-90s too, you're going to see when balls are connected, they may go a ways, but it should be a really good series, hopefully for the Gamecocks.
Gamecock Central Radio, Emerson Phillips with Kip Bouknight. 4 o'clock start for Saturday's game. That'll be on SEC Network Plus. And, Kip, you'll be on the TV broadcast with Birch Antley for that one. Sophomore right-hander Cody Morris, 3-1 with a 4.05 ERA, gets the start for the Gamecocks. And for Florida, it'll be their junior right-hander Jackson Kowar, 3-0 with a 2.05 ERA. Florida comes into the series 16-3. They lost the 2 midweek games last week to UCF, and they also lost to Miami earlier this year. That's their 3 losses. Gamecocks are 12-5. Sunday starters for Florida, it'll be Tyler Dyson, a sophomore right-hander with a 3-1 record and a 1.07 ERA. And, Kip, the Gamecocks Sunday starter is still yet to be determined. We believe it'll be Demurius again?
Well, it depends. I mean, if they feel like they need to use Demurius Friday night, tonight, then they'll do that. They're going to do what they can to win Friday and win Saturday. And, I don't think it's a bad strategy right now, because no one's really come out and shown that they absolutely should be the Sunday starter. And having said that, I would feel comfortable with Demurius being the Sunday starter. I'd feel comfortable with
Gilreath
John being the starter. But, they're also so effective, good that, we may need them in the middle part of Friday if Hill doesn't, go very far, or whatever the situation may be. But I like their options. Even if South Carolina has to start, one of the Chapman, I call them brothers, but they're not, but one of the Chapman guys, I think they'll be okay. And, we've seen some other pitchers throw the ball really well. So, I mean, I think that's an okay situation. I'm not too concerned about that. But Cody Morris, talking about him, he really impressed me his last outing, and I think that young man has an opportunity. If I were him, I would take the attitude and mindset of, in a competitive way, not in a bad way, but in a competitive way, I would say, you know what, I'm going to show that I should be the Friday night guy, because he has electric stuff. Watching him throw a bullpen the other night before the Harvard game, and his stuff is just on point, and he throws the ball down the strike zone really, really well, and he's got a good slider. It's an out pitch for him, and that's not taking anything away from Adam Hill. I'm just saying that that young man has just as good of stuff and really has the ability to be. I think you got two guys on Friday and Saturday night that, I mean, they could, and you may say should, but they could easily be All-Americans this year for South Carolina. They've got that good of stuff, and they could be fun to watch for the Carolina fans.
Kip, we're 17 games into the season now, and Mark Kingston said this week that the Gamecocks will go with a closer-by-committee approach. Is that a potential problem for South Carolina?
Well, I don't think so. Again, I think, you could even put that closer. I think Gilreath could close if we had to. We certainly watched Josh Reagan do it from the left side without overpowering stuff, and Gilreath's stuff is actually a little bit better than I believe Josh Reagan's was. The odd thing is there really hasn't been a ton of close situations that South Carolina's been in. So, I think that's kind of why that has happened, and it ended up being that way. But I don't think so. I mean, I do think, come 2-3 weeks into the SEC schedule, you definitely have that defined role, if you will. But now, I think there's plenty of capable guys, but I think that role will work itself out here in the next couple of weeks.
Looks like it'll be a combination of Graham Lawson, Hunter Lomas, Carmen Majinski, and possibly John Gilreath as well in that closer situation for the Gamecocks, but we don't know who's going to come out first, who's going to pitch when, or for how long. So, and Eddie DeMarius is still a factor as well. He could be the Sunday starter. We'll just have to wait and see. Kip, SEC play getting underway. It's going to be an awful lot of fun. Sunday's game will be a 1 o'clock start on ESPNU. Dave Neal, Kyle Peterson on the call of that ball game, and you've got TV on Saturday, Kip. So should be a great weekend of college baseball. Like you said, good weather at Founders Park, and it'll be fantastic to have South Carolina hosting the reigning national champs. It's going to be a big weekend.
Yeah, it will be a big weekend. Hopefully Founders Park will be electric with atmosphere, and come out and support the Gamecocks, man. Just let's try to pull them through and get a big win. I think that would be a great start to the SEC schedule, and I do think this team can be very, very fun to watch, and I think they're playing as the underdog, which I think is going to bode well for the mentality of these young men. I certainly know they're going to do their best and think they can to win. They're ready to get back to the regionals and ready to get back to Omaha. That's absolutely their goal, and I'm certainly doing nothing but rooting hard for them. And it is tough on the network I keep saying we a couple of times, and they keep getting on to me, so I have to try to stay neutral, but it's just get out of me, but I do all I can.
Hey, Kip, thanks for your time. Let's do it again next week.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Emerson.
Thank you. That's Kip Bouknight, and I'm Emerson Phillips. This is Gamecock Central Radio. We'll be back next week to recap the Florida series. Next week, South Carolina's got at the Citadel on Tuesday night, and next weekend at Georgia in the second SEC series of the season. Thanks for joining us.